Monster Hunter World is the best game ever made. In this video, we'll discuss why Monster Hunter World is indeed the best game of all time, and why you should not miss out on playing it based on my completely unbiased and objective opinion that I am sure 100% of viewers will agree with, and will generate commentary only telling me how perfectly correct I am. We'll go over the game's development journey and the unique challenges the team faced given the series' established fanbase. We'll also cover the ingenious technical and mechanics innovations that allowed them to ease in new players without alienating others, and the ultimately addictive gameplay loop that makes the core of its success. If you're wondering why there are so many people playing Monster Hunter World right now, this will catch you up to speed. This is the 5th video in our series exploring how many games have gotten impressively huge and committed fan bases, and what's great about each of them. If you haven't noticed yet, the title is not a serious one. Monster Hunter World is an important and pivotal moment in the history of Capcom, as it's part of what is known by fans as the Capcom Redemption arc. This comes from the perception that Capcom Studios had lost their mojo and were pumping out shells of their star titles, with major series outsourced to cheap third-party studios, and the feeling of having phoned in the technical department of many important games. The development of Monster Hunter World represented a colossal leap forward for Capcom, but one filled with unprecedented challenges, especially when considering the legacy and expectations set by previous games in the series. Previous Monster Hunter titles were primarily released on handheld consoles, which imposed limitations on graphics, world complexity, and connectivity. The series was known for its punishing difficulty, intricate mechanics, and a steep learning curve, aspects that, while cherished by veterans, often deterred new players. One of the significant challenges was the creation of a seamless open-world ecosystem. Previous entries in the series used segmented maps, which interrupted gameplay flow and immersion. In Monster Hunter World, Capcom introduced larger zones that players could traverse without loading screens, removing these barriers and allowing monsters to move fluidly between zones, creating a more dynamic and unpredictable hunting experience. To be a successful title, Monster Hunter World needed to maintain the depth and complexity that longtime fans had come to expect from Monster Hunter, while making the game more approachable for newcomers. This delicate balance involved rethinking the user interface, streamlining complex systems without diluting their depth, and introducing quality-of-life improvements that could make the game less daunting for first-time players. An example of a feature added to bridge the new players across is the Scoutfly system that was added to act as a guide to quest objectives. This mechanic was meant to address one of the series' long-standing issues, the steep learning curve. By providing a more accessible way for players to track monsters and find resources, Capcom made Monster Hunter World more welcoming to newcomers without sacrificing the depth that veterans appreciated. Furthermore, the shift to high-definition consoles and eventually to PC is a pivotal moment in the Monster Hunter series. It was the first mainline title to be developed for high-end consoles and PC, taking full advantage of the increased processing power to deliver stunning visuals, intricate detail, and a vibrant, living world. The game's ecosystems are meticulously designed, with each area boasting its unique flora, fauna, and environmental hazards, all of which could be used strategically in hunts. The game also introduced a more dynamic weather system and day and night cycle, which affected not only the visual ambiance but also monster behavior and the gameplay itself. This level of detail and environmental interaction was unprecedented in the series and contributed significantly to the game's immersive experience, double playing as fancy features for newcomers and more mechanics for veterans. We had the opportunity to talk to Capcom several months before Monster Hunter World was released, and one of our questions was, who is this game for? Veterans? New players? Who is it? Their answer was a very determined everyone, and they really meant it. Capcom's marketing strategy for Monster Hunter World was aggressive and inclusive, aiming to draw in the global audience. The company utilized a mix of traditional advertising, social media campaigns, and public events to generate buzz around the game. They also released a series of beta tests that were open to the public, allowing players to experience the game firsthand and provide feedback, which was integral to the game's final polishing phase. This strategy is similar to what From Software does to soft promote their content via network tests that are essentially an opportunity to generate hype around the fanbase shortly before release. The promotion didn't stop after launch, however, and this is probably one of the most important aspects of the enduring success of Monster Hunter World. The developers had planned out a series of event quests and free DLC that would carry the title for many months, adding continuous free content. This included collaborations with other franchises such as The Witcher and Final Fantasy, which successfully expanded the game's appeal beyond its core fanbase. These crossovers brought unique quests, characters, and monsters from those beloved series into the world of Monster Hunter, creating a buzz among fans of all involved franchises and driving additional interest in the game. The slow drip of content continued until the announcement of the Iceborne expansion that would also come paired with a roadmap of extra free content to be added post-launch. The staggering launch on console and PC, plus the event quests, festivals, collaborations, and expansion content proved to be a fantastic way to keep the fanbase engaged, and all of that without asking them to pay monthly fees or for each update as any other gaming service as a service model would have called for. All of these things prove that in the end, developer motivation and integrity is the single most important factor in giving any game the best possible chance to succeed. For Monster Hunter World, the developers specifically and deliberately set out to modernize the title and expand its audience, but were also determined to not compromise on aspects the established fanbase expected. This was a costly investment. The game's development cycle was incredibly long. They took an entire year just brainstorming how to do it, and then another 4 years of actual development. But it was ultimately successful because it was the time needed to truly deliver a masterpiece. As a player, Monster Hunter World is truly the perfect welcome to the series. The game gives just the right amount of accessibility but does not skimp on depth. Finding a monster is easy, but they have complex AI, weaknesses, attack patterns, and environmental interactions that make hunts exciting and unique. Weapon and armor crafting, skill selection, and overall farming is intricate but comprehensible, and made all the more accessible with a robust co-op system and the encouragement for veteran players to help lower-level players via special rewards. Gameplay is an addictive mix of character optimization, tinkering, research, gathering materials, and feeling godly as you unleash awesome combos. But combat is not where it ends either, as there are many extra activities from hunting endemic life to befriending cute wildcat tribes. Monster Hunter World is the kind of game that you really get lost in, becoming some sort of relaxing but at the same time thrilling daily habit that you can play for weeks without noticing. The combination of all this has rewarded the game with an ongoing appeal, so even now in 2024 there are record numbers of players enjoying the title on Steam 5 years after its original launch. Monster Hunter World's success had a profound impact on the gaming industry. It demonstrated the viability of these massive but niche Japanese games in the global market, challenging the notion that certain genres are too quirky for the worldwide audience. World's success paved the way for other Japanese titles to reach a broader audience, influencing the marketing and localization strategies of numerous developers. The Yakuza series would go on to add full voice acting for Like a Dragon, which became its most popular title with Western gamers. Moreover, Monster Hunter World has set a new standard for the hunting genre, particularly in how games can create a balanced ecosystem that caters to both hardcore players and newcomers. Its innovative approach to world building, player guidance, and community engagement has influenced the development of subsequent titles within and beyond its genre. The takeaway from all this is that Capcom's investment in deliberation, production, and development is the right approach for any series looking to broaden its audience without hurting its core. And like every game in this series, it comes down to the passion and commitment of the developer to make this happen. 5 years later, we're now looking at the next frontier, Monster Hunter Wilds. From everything we've seen, it seems to follow the world development approach, but it seems Capcom is not slowing down, as we can already notice feature enhancements that could once again change the way we think about hunting games. You can check out our full analysis for Monster Hunter Wilds on our YouTube channel. So what do you think? Is Monster Hunter World your favorite game ever? Or maybe it was at some point? What other titles would you like us to cover in this series, and why? Let us know in the comments below.